The removal of the badge took exactly 30 seconds. When the judge gave the order, the elderly police veteran didn't object. He simply slowly removed the badge and placed it on the witness stand. At that moment, no one knew that this action would trigger a chain reaction that would end that judge's career forever. Welcome to Human Stories. Before we begin this powerful story of justice, tell us in the comments which city you're watching from today. And if you believe true heroes should always be remembered, hit that subscribe button. These stories must not be forgotten. Boston Federal Courthouse's third criminal court looked cold and formal as always. High ceilings, old wood paneling, the United States flag, and scales of justice hanging on the walls. It was 2:30 p.m. and the courtroom was half full. Behind the judge's bench, in her black robe, sat Judge Jennifer Morrison, 32 years old, young, at the beginning of her career. After graduating from Harvard Law School, she had risen quickly and had been serving as a federal judge for only 3 years. She was confident, uncompromising on rules, and a disciplined lawyer. At the witness stand stood Robert Bobby Washington, 69 years old, gray-haired, with a slightly hunched posture. He wore a clean but old suit, polished leather shoes on his feet. On his chest was a bright, gold-colored badge. It wasn't very conspicuous, but it glinted slightly when the light hit it. The case was a simple traffic accident lawsuit. Bobby had been called as a witness. He had seen the accident, provided first aid, called 911. A routine testimony, a routine case. When Judge Morrison looked up from her file, she noticed the badge on Bobby's chest. She frowned. According to federal court protocols, no rank insignia, medals, or decorative items should be present at the witness stand. "Sir," she said in a cold voice, "please remove that badge." Bobby was surprised. "Excuse me, Your Honor?" "The badge on your chest. This is a federal courtroom, not a parade ground. Please remove it." There was a slight stir in the courtroom. A few people looked at each other. Bobby's face changed. First surprise, then sadness, then silent acceptance. "Understood," he said slowly. Bobby brought his hand to his chest. His fingers trembled slightly. That badge wasn't just a piece of metal to him. That badge was the symbol of what he had experienced post-9/11, of surviving those terrible days, of putting his life on the line for his country. He began to remove the badge, slowly, very slowly, as if he was leaving behind a memory with each second. The sound the pin made as it went through his shirt caused silence in the courtroom. Judge Morrison waited impatiently. She couldn't understand why Bobby was acting so slowly. It was just a badge. He would remove it, set it down, and the case would continue. Bobby completely removed the badge. He held it in his palm for a while, as if saying goodbye. Then he slowly placed it on the witness stand. The sound of metal touching wood echoed in the courtroom. "Thank you," said Judge Morrison, returning to her file. "Now we can proceed with your testimony." But Bobby was no longer the same man. When that badge was removed, it was as if something inside him had been removed too. Not just the badge, but his honor had also remained on the table. He gave his testimony. Short, clear, answered the questions. But his voice wasn't as strong as before. His eyes kept drifting to the badge on the stand. "Any other questions?" asked the judge. "No, Your Honor." "Then you may take your badge and step down." Bobby took the badge, put it in his pocket. He bowed his head, thanked her, and left the courtroom. No one knew who he was. Not yet. In the back rows of the courtroom sat a man who didn't attract anyone's attention. Marcus Rodriguez, 45 years old, was an experienced detective working at the Boston Police Department. He had been called as a witness in another case that day, but his case had been postponed. In his free time, he was watching other trials. When Bobby stepped up to the witness stand, Marcus's heart stopped. He knew that man. He knew him very well. In the post-9/11 days, during those terrible days when terrorist attacks occurred, Bobby Washington had saved his life. He watched without blinking. When the judge asked him to remove the badge, Marcus's heart tightened. That badge was a Medal of Valor. It had been given to Bobby for the heroism he showed against terrorists after September 11th. Marcus remembered those days. There had been a bomb threat at the Boston Police Department. Terrorist suspects had surrounded the building. Bobby was a police sergeant at the time, with only 2 months left until retirement. He could have run, could have gone home. But he didn't leave. That day, when the terrorists attacked the building, Bobby had thrown himself in front of Marcus, taking the bullet with his own body. Marcus was wounded. Bobby was more severely wounded. But he didn't give up. He had carried Marcus on his back to safety. And now a judge was ordering him to remove the badge that symbolized that heroism. Marcus couldn't stand it. He pulled out his cell phone. "Hello, Chief. This is Marcus." "Yes, Marcus, what's up?" "Chief, we have an urgent situation. I'm currently at Boston Federal Courthouse, courtroom 3. "What happened?" "Robert Washington was here as a witness. The judge ordered him to remove his Medal of Valor." There was silence on the other end of the line. "Which Robert Washington?" "The 9/11 hero. The man who saved me." "Are you sure?" "Absolutely certain, Chief. I saw it with my own eyes." Before hanging up, Boston Police Chief Daniel O'Connor asked, "Who's the judge?" "Jennifer Morrison." "Got it. Don't leave there." The phone hung up. Chief O'Connor was sitting at his desk but could no longer concentrate. Robert Washington. That name wasn't just a name. He was one of the most honorable names in the Boston Police Department. Post-September 11th, at 67 years old, with 2 months left until retirement, he had put his life on the line for his country. He had saved not just Marcus, but a total of 3 colleagues that day. He had spent 2 months in the hospital, then retired. And now a judge was ordering him to remove the symbol of his heroism. Daniel O'Connor dialed another number. "Hello, Mayor's office. This is Chief O'Connor, Boston PD." "Yes, Chief, how can I help you?" "I need to inform you about a situation that just occurred." Daniel O'Connor explained what had happened. The mayor's face changed as he listened. "Are you certain, Chief?" "Absolutely certain. Marcus witnessed it firsthand." "Robert Washington. That man is our pride. This is unacceptable. What do you recommend we do?" "I'm calling the State Attorney General. You contact the governor's office. This needs to be resolved before it escalates." Both phones hung up at the same time, but the matter had already escalated. The mayor called the State Attorney General. The governor's office also got involved. The federal court chief judge received an urgent meeting call. It was only 3:30 p.m. Only 1 hour had passed since Bobby removed his badge. But in that 1 hour, the phone chain had reached the highest levels of the city. Judge Jennifer Morrison was listening to the day's last case in the courtroom. It was approaching 4 p.m. She was tired. She wanted to go home, rest. She had already forgotten about the badge incident that afternoon. To her, it was a very normal situation. Federal protocol had been applied. The matter was over. There was a knock at the door. The court clerk came in. "Your Honor, the chief judge wants to see you." "Now? I'm in session." "He says it's urgent." Jennifer was surprised. It was unusual for the chief judge to want to see her. She postponed the hearing and went up to her office. Chief Judge William Hayes was sitting behind his desk with a serious expression. The federal prosecutor was also beside him. "Jennifer, please sit down." "Is there a problem, sir?" "You had a witness remove a badge today," Jennifer thought. "Yes, federal protocol requires it. What's the issue?" "Whose badge was it?" "An elderly witness, Robert something. I don't recall the last name." The chief judge and federal prosecutor made eye contact. "Robert Washington." "Yes, that's him." "Jennifer," the chief judge's voice was serious, "that man is a 9/11 hero. That badge was a Medal of Valor." Jennifer's face changed. 9/11 hero? Yes. Post 9/11 terrorist attacks, he saved 3 police officers' lives. 67 years old, 2 months from retirement. That badge represents his heroism. I didn't know. This matter is now at the state level. Governor's office, Attorney General, Mayor. Everyone knows about this incident. Jennifer listened with her mouth open. "What do we do?" "You don't do anything. We'll handle this." When Bobby came home, it was 5 p.m. A small apartment, 2 bedrooms and a living room. His wife Margaret met him at the door. How did court go? Bobby didn't answer. He went to the living room, sank into the armchair. He took the badge out of his pocket and placed it on the coffee table. Margaret tried to understand what the badge was doing there. That badge was usually on Bobby's chest. What happened? They asked me to remove it. Who asked? The judge. Said no decorations allowed in federal court. Margaret froze. Decorations? That badge is a decoration. That's what they said. Margaret sat next to her husband. They had been married for 43 years. She had never seen Bobby this sad. This badge, said Margaret, touching the badge with her hand, was earned with your blood. I know what you went through that day. Bobby was silent. After September 11th, when you came home, your body was full of holes. You spent 2 months in the hospital. You were face to face with death, and now someone calls this badge a decoration? Let it go, Margaret. It's over. No, it's not over. This is injustice. Margaret took her phone. Who are you calling? Marcus. Marcus, whom you saved that day. Marcus was still at the courthouse, waiting, following developments. When his phone rang and he heard Margaret's voice, he was surprised. Mrs. Washington? Marcus, were you at the courthouse today? Yes, ma'am, I saw what happened. What exactly did that judge say? Marcus explained what happened. Margaret started crying as she listened. Ma'am, please don't cry. I'll handle this. How will you handle it? Bobby never tells anyone his story, but I will. We will. The phone hung up. Marcus dialed another number. Hello, James? This is Marcus. Listen to me. James was the second police officer Bobby had saved post 9/11. He was now serving in another state. What happened to Bobby? Marcus explained. James's voice changed as he listened. This is unacceptable, Marcus. I'll make some calls, too. Do it. This can't be forgotten. Thus, the second chain began. This time the police were organizing among themselves. At 7 p.m., local journalist Michael Thompson was collecting the day's news when he received an interesting phone call. Hello, this is Officer James. I have a news story for you. I'm listening. 9/11 hero Robert Washington was disrespected in federal court today. Michael picked up his pen. Can you give me details? James explained what happened. Michael was surprised as he took notes. Are you certain about this? Absolutely certain. I'm one of the people Bobby saved that day. The phone hung up. Michael immediately began researching. Who was Robert Washington? What did he do on September 11th? The information he found in the archives shocked him. Robert Washington wasn't just a hero. He was one of the hidden heroes of 9/11. He had never given interviews, never come to the forefront, lived his heroism quietly. Michael began writing the story. At 9 p.m., the news was published online, with the headline, 9/11 Hero Disrespected in Federal Court. The article told Robert Washington's story, what he experienced post-September 11th, how he saved 3 people, how he was wounded, and what happened to him in court today. The news began to be shared on social media. Marcus was the first to share, then James, then other police officers. By 10 p.m., the news had become a trending topic. People were expressing their anger in the comments. How is this disrespect? That badge isn't decoration, it's a medal of heroism. The judge should apologize. Stand up for Bobby. The phones didn't stop ringing all night. At 11:30 p.m., the governor's private phone rang. Sir, this Robert Washington incident has exploded. It's trending on social media. What do you mean? It's headline news. People are reacting strongly. The governor opened the internet. Indeed, the Robert Washington news was everywhere. We'll make a statement in the morning. This will be corrected. At 1 a.m., the Attorney General was also called. Same agenda, same concern. Who's the judge? Jennifer Morrison, young, inexperienced. First thing tomorrow morning, we'll resolve this matter. Bobby woke up at 6 a.m. He had gotten up early as always. While preparing his breakfast, he turned on the television. The first topic of the morning news was himself. 9/11 hero Robert Washington faced disrespect in federal court yesterday, sparking outrage. Bobby froze. His own photo was on television, a photo from post-September 11th from when he was in the hospital. Margaret also came and looked at the television. "This is Michael's doing," said Bobby. "Good for him. You would never tell your story." The phone started ringing. The first caller was Marcus. "Bobby, the news is out. All of America is talking about it." "I didn't want this, Marcus. But it was necessary. This disrespect was unacceptable." The phone hung up and rang again. This time it was James. Then other friends, neighbors, relatives, everyone was saying the same thing. "Bobby, you're right. This disrespect is unacceptable." At 10 a.m., a statement came from the governor's office. "We condemn the disrespect shown to 9/11 hero Robert Washington. Such behavior is unacceptable. A necessary investigation has been initiated." At 11 a.m., the Department of Justice also made a statement. "We expect federal judges to show proper respect to our heroes. A proper investigation has been opened regarding this matter." When Judge Jennifer Morrison came to work in the morning, she found an official document on her desk about an investigation being opened. Jennifer Morrison couldn't speak that morning. Her colleagues were looking at her strangely. She heard whispers in the corridors. She made a 9/11 hero remove his badge. What kind of heartlessness? Her career is over. At lunch, she was called to the chief judge's office. "Jennifer, the situation is very serious. This has become headline news. State offices are involved. What do we do?" "You will write an apology letter to both Mr. Washington and the public." "What else?" "We'll see. Such a major error has consequences." When Jennifer returned to her office, she sat at her desk and began to cry. It was just a badge. She had enforced federal protocol, but she didn't know there was such a story behind that badge. In the evening, an envelope arrived at Bobby's house. It had been sent from federal court. Inside was a handwritten letter. "Dear Mr. Washington, I sincerely apologize for the disrespect I showed you in court yesterday. I was unaware of your heroism during the post-9/11 period. That badge was indeed not a decoration, but a symbol of your sacrifice for our nation. I understand my mistake, and I am deeply sorry. I apologize to you and to all the public. Respectfully, Judge Jennifer Morrison." Bobby read the letter. Margaret also read it. "What do you think?" asked Margaret. "She's just a kid. She didn't know. But she made a big mistake." "We all make mistakes. What matters is realizing it." Bobby picked up the phone and called Marcus. She apologized, sent a letter. "Bobby, this isn't enough. There should be consequences." "Marcus, she's human too. She made a mistake, realized it. That's enough." But the incident had grown so large that even Bobby's tolerance couldn't stop it anymore. A week later, Judge Jennifer Morrison received a transfer decision. She had been assigned from Boston to a small town. Her promotion hopes had ended. A month later, she also received a disciplinary penalty, a warning penalty, but it was recorded in her file. In the media, she also began to be known as the badge judge. Next to her name in every news story was written, "Judge who disrespected 9/11 hero." Her career was really over. Bobby followed these developments with sadness. He called Marcus. "I didn't want it to go this far." "Bobby, the judge brought this on herself." "But wasn't it too harsh?" This is justice." A year later, Bobby and Jennifer coincidentally met at a public hospital. Both had come for checkups. When Jennifer saw Bobby, she froze. She wanted to approach but didn't have the courage. Bobby noticed her. He stood up and went to her. "How are you, Judge Morrison?" Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. "I'm fine. How are you?" "Can't complain. Please, sit." Both sat down. There was a strange silence between them. "Mr. Washington," said Jennifer, "I really didn't know that day." "I know. I wish I had asked. I wish I had been curious. It's in the past. Let's look forward. You're very kind. I destroyed my career with one decision. Careers can be rebuilt. Character matters more." Jennifer was crying now. "Thank you for saying that." Bobby stood up. "Take care of yourself, Judge." And they parted. both as different people. And so, a badge was removed in federal court. But the story behind that badge ended a judge's career and taught all of America a lesson about justice. Because sometimes the smallest disrespect brings the biggest consequences. And sometimes real justice is not written in courtrooms, but in people's hearts. If this story moved you, let us know in the comments. Do you have silent heroes like Bobby Washington around you? Share their stories with us too. Don't forget to subscribe to Human Stories. We bring you powerful stories like this every week, because every person has a story worth telling.